allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I get my seat? Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill is excused, Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Scharf, seconded by Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Under public comment, we have only one name, Mary Kay Miller. Come up and give us your name and address, please. I think you know all the rules.
Good evening, Mary Kay Miller, 1300 3rd Street Northwest, apartment 19. I would like to thank the council for finding money for our senior center. You found $7,000 for us, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary Kate.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the April 23rd, 2018 regular meeting and the May 7th, 2018 special meeting, city financial statements from the month of April, budgeted transfers for the month of April, Independence Area Chamber of Commerce Class B beer includes wine cooler liquor license June 8th, 2018 through June 12th, 2018. Independence Area Chamber of Commerce Class B beer includes wine coolers liquor license August 10th, 2018 through August 14th, 2018. And tickets for Noble LLC Class B beer includes wine coolers and outdoor service liquor license August 1st, 2018 through August 5th, 2018.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Kurtz,
Second.
second by Scharf. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a petition from the public of Mr. Bill Coulter. If you would come forward, please.
You've got to speak a little louder.
I'm sorry.
Very hard hearing. I am here on my own. I do not represent the VFW, but I do represent all veterans, because every time you take a flag down, and with a weak excuse, we cannot find the money in our budget, it's like you kick us. And you've got money for everything else, but why can't you keep that flag flying down on the end of 6th Avenue? Is it that expensive? If I understand correctly, every time that flag has to be replaced is $500. And you replace it approximately 7 times a year. That's less than $5,000 out of your budget. Welcome people to our city. We've got 4 entrances, and that's the only one that's got a flag there for it. And Independence has always stood for just that. That's our history. And now all of a sudden, we have no money. Why?
It's not even 5,000, isn't it 2? Didn't we say 2?
Well, there's also the cost that it does have to be lighted at all times, and we've had problems in the past.
What it costs me to light my flag that I fly 365 days a year. Is this the final decision? Is this set in stone you're going to do that?
We voted on it.
Pardon?
We did vote on it.
That is set in stone? It cannot be reversed?
I don't know, that couldn't be. Can we hear some other proposals that I think we've got in the audience?
Like I say, we've heard rumors that somebody else was going to take over and fly that for us and pay the cost. We don't know what's going on, but there was a vote amongst the council members at the last meeting.
Why is this not the city responsibility? True, the VFW will probably step forward and fly a flag out there. And they will figure a way to light it that isn't going to cost thousands of dollars every year.
The city does have 14 other flags throughout the town.
I understand. I've got a list of every one of them.
Okay.
And I've also got a list of how many you fly on every flagpole. Because a lot of them you will fly up to 3 flags on. Why? Because here we are. It all depends. What I can't seem to get anyone to understand is why the one that everybody sees, our city is all building to the west or to the south and west. I live down on Spruce Drive, down there in that area. That has brought more new people from everywhere. There's 18 condos down in there. Everywhere from Waterloo, Evansdale. There is 3 of us that are from Independence. The rest of them are all new citizens with money to spend. And you decide you'll put up thousands of dollars to have a 48-unit rebate on taxes? This don't make sense. Because you're spending thousands of dollars on tax rebates and going nowhere with it.
When we do a TIF project with a rebate on taxes, that's not taking away from any of the taxes we have now. It's delaying new property taxes. So it's not taking anything
I'm not
away.
hearing you.
When we do a TIF project and do a rebate on taxes, that is not taking anything away from any of our other taxes. Those are new dollars that we're just delaying for a certain number of years in order for a multi-million-dollar project to come in, which would be a very big increase to property taxes when that TIF program is finished.
No, it won't be, because if you go back and look at all these government projects, in 10 years, they're going to be back hitting you up for some more, because they're going to need that to remodel and clean it up. Their record of government subsidized housing is not very good.
Whose record?
The whole, well, let's take Waterloo, for example. This gentleman has put one up in Waterloo, and they say it's very successful. But he hasn't got down to 10 years yet when they have trashed it.
I can't speak for any other towns or any other programs or people, so we just know what we're working
But
with.
this is giving, no matter how you cut it, you're giving that tax dollar away. But that's beside the point. What we're concerned with is the flying of that flag and having it lit. And that sign lit. Why can't there be a solar light out there for where we're done paying bills on this?
We work with the Independence Light and Power to get our lighting and stuff, and so whatever they can get for us is what we look at.
But we never probably really had them check into solar lights, did we?
I don't know if they have or not.
That's actually on the rural electric power grid down there. That's not on Independence Light and Power. We have been working with Independence Light and Power on options for lighting the flag. We've been looking at how we can do that cost effectively, not just for the electricity to light the flag, but there's been issues with the light out there, whether or not there's enough light out there. We actually have complaints about the flag not being lit when the flag is, when the lights are on. And so there's been several issues that we've been dealing with in that area in particular. But again, just for the record, that is in the rural electric service territory. It's not Independence Light and Power.
Independence Light and Power cannot be out there.
No.
No, REC is.
You mean to tell me we can't put a solar system in?
I don't know that much about solar systems, so I can't answer that question. But are you not on REC for your electricity where you live?
I'm on REC.
Okay, and that's,
I don't have any problem with putting solar lights on my flagpole.
So we never took the steps to
I
ask
think
REC about.
Part of the
light.
problem that we have with that location is that flagpole is so high and the wind is so destructive to the flag that we're having to replace it every 3 months.
That is
And there's nothing, the only thing worse than taking the flag down is letting it be up there all tattered. And it does cost us nearly $400 to replace it. I'm a veteran, I want to see the flag flying too, but I would rather see it positioned someplace else where it doesn't get destroyed so easily.
That
And-
is the only place you're going to be able to position one to show people what we are.
When they come down.
And that amount of money, if it's every 3 months, that's cheaper yet. You're down way under $5,000 a year for flag costs.
But we have to replace other flags in town too.
That is true, but a flag in town, in most locations, you'll replace them once a year.
That's true.
And you're gonna replace 3 of them at that time.
or,
Now, on a lot of your flagpoles, you have 3 flags flying.
It's very expensive.
Flags are expensive, but anything that shows as much as that particular flag does needs to be put up. Because you say you get a lot of calls because the flag is tattered. That tells you one thing. People are looking at that flag. They're paying attention. A lot of them, especially on a foggy night, a lot of people watch for that flag and that lit to know they're getting close to their exit to get off. Oh, I've had phone calls for everything under the sun since I mentioned this. And generally, I do not interfere in city business, for the simple reason I'm too damned old, because most of you weren't even born when I enlisted. So, but it is one of those things.
I did have a couple calls to people ask on Facebook that we're on, that why didn't we poll that to see if anybody was interested in paying for a flag and get a list of people to pay for them. I don't know if that's something that we could do.
Are there any of the other 14 flags that we pay for that you would be okay if we eliminated some of those and put the cost of those flags in order to
Some
keep
of the
that?
flags you fly, especially, now let's take the shed, the city maintenance shed. It should have a flag up there. But how many people look at it? And you place it once a year. And I buy my flags that'll last a year for somewhere $15 to $20. So this is not a big expense if you look at your overall budget.
Well, we do appreciate your comments, and they will take that into consideration. I don't know if anybody else has anything else.
Will you bring this back to another vote? To give us time to get ourselves together so we understand exactly where we're going with it if you people fizzle out.
If you want to, we possibly can do that at a later time.
Let's
If you've,
have a
if you've
date.
had, if you've had enough time to discuss it and come up with some ideas, and you want to let me know, then we can look at possibly putting that back on the agenda.
The one idea would be Facebook. Do a poll and see if people will.
I do want to point out that city staff did take the liberty of putting it on Facebook the last time this came up to make sure people knew that this was being discussed. And the level of comment and the tone of comment from most people was not things that we would speak in public. I mean, it was not
For it or against it, though.
anything that you can imagine. And you know, I'm not opposed to Facebook. Most of the people that were commenting, I don't think were even local people, but I'm not opposed to putting it on Facebook and talking about it, but I want you to know that we've put it out there. We've tried to let the community know that this was going to be discussed, just as a service. And you know, there's some folks that are not very polite when they don't have to stand here as Bill is, and I appreciate your comments and your willingness to stand up and speak, you know,
But-
civilly about your thoughts on it. So thank you for that. But, you know, as we go out there, please be understanding that there's some folks that don't understand the whole context of what we're talking about and what it is that, you know, the real issues at hand. So,
And you do not understand what it's like to have, I'm asking you to lay your life on the line for that flag. A lot of you have no idea. There's a vet, I don't know when he served or anything, but it is one of those things that, and I've lost a grandson to that. So it kind of smarts. And that flag is what it's all about. That represents America, the whole thing. And that's what it's all about. And we would like to see that go back up.
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a
Thanks,
vet.
Bill. Thank you.
We don't ask anybody else to come up, even though they're all out there, do we? Since they didn't sign it or anything. Okay, I know Mr. Calder made comment that he wasn't speaking for any of the groups, but that he is a veteran, and I see lots of veterans out there. I will give you an opportunity, if you can keep it short, if any of you would like to come up and speak on this issue. Just give us your name and address, please.
I'm Roger Allen. I'm commander of the VFW.
Thank you.
I live right here in town, and there are many veterans within the community, and Bill is very much right. I was a Vietnam veteran in 1970, 71, and we were very lucky to be able to come back, and I'm gonna try to make it as short as I can. I'm just hoping that we can come up with some kind of a resolution for this flag, really. That is a really high exposure area out there. I understand the 12 by 18 flag is very expensive, $500. Did a little bit of work this afternoon. Even if we could put a smaller flag up there, we at the VFW would consider buying one, you know. You can put an 8 by 12 flag up there for $123. And my son owns a barbershop down here, and there'd been some conversation in his barbershop about this. And I don't think it would be very hard to come up with $500.
But doesn't the flag have to be a certain size for the size of the pole?
Not necessarily. I mean, an 8 by 12 flag would probably look pretty small on that big pole. That's a pretty good sized pole. I guess what we normally do with some of the large flags, we will, some ladies through the auxiliary with the VFW will double stitch some of these flags, triple stitch them, whatever they take on the ends, before we put them up to reinforce them. And maybe we can do this out here. You know, I'm just kind of drawing at straws, right? I'd really love to keep that flag up out there.
I've heard that suggested also from some of the ladies that they could do that.
And we have ladies through the auxiliary that will, even if they get real frayed on us, they might be able to take a couple inches off and re-sew them, even if you get another month out of it, or a couple months out of it, you know.
Okay.
This is some things we can bring to our VFW group and then talk with the Legion too, possibly, you know. So I'm just hoping we can put a flag back up there.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, George.
Is there anybody else?
Wait,
Just come on up, give us your name and address.
My name is Carol Kloss, and I live also here in Independence. I'm Bill Coulter's daughter.
Okay.
My son is his grandson who passed away at the age of 25 due to post-traumatic stress disorder after serving 2 tours, one in Iraq for 22 months, the longest Red Bull to be deployed that long since World War II. He then was home for 3 years, returned to Afghanistan for 12 months, returned home, and died a year later.
I'm
of
sorry for your
suicide.
loss.
That flag meant everything to Dean. It represents Dean. He was from here in town. He looked at me one day and said, "So what are you gonna do if 9/11 comes to the streets of Independence? I can't help you. But if we can keep you safe, I'm willing to go." Every time I look at that flag, I think of the Twin Towers and how he felt about saving his community from terrorists.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clayton.
Anyone else?
It's a good suggestion.
I'm Russell Press. I'm the commander of the American Legion, and we would be much willing to work with the city and the VFW to assure that that flag stays flying. Independence means independence. We are independent. We won our independence from in all the wars before, and we're going to keep our independence, and we need to have that out there as a display for all. I mean, we can have the biggest 4th of July celebration in town and around, but we can't keep our flag flying. That doesn't make any sense. So and we buy the largest flag there is for our flagpole, which is a 30 by 20, and it costs us less than $500, and it'll fly for at least 6 months. You got to know where to buy the flag. So we would be willing to show you where available and we can fly it.
Any information you can give us and share with us, we'd appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, just for clarification, so that we have all the facts straight, the flag that we fly is a 12 by 18. It costs us $305 or $310 per time, and it lasts about 8 to 10 weeks, depending on the time of year and the weather, the wind. Anything over 8 weeks is really a gift before they start becoming tattered. So, the idea of 7 flags a year is probably not too far off if we were to do it as consistently as what, people would want us to do that. But again, so we don't spread misinformation, it is $310 a flag, and it's about every 8 to 10 weeks that we have issues with it. And I appreciate the comments about stitching it. I know that there's some different things that have been suggested, and I think we're open to any of those. If there's a better flag or a better place to get them on any of our flags, I think we'd be open to that feedback, so.
Okay? Okay if we move on? Nobody else? Thank you very much. We appreciate all your comments and your offers to assist us. It always works better if we can work with you in doing this. And yes, we will attempt to bring this back on an agenda later. And if you have comments you want to make to your council people, they're the ones that have the vote. So let them know what your feelings are or what you're willing to do. Appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
Do we need something formal from the council as far as putting it on the agenda for the next meeting?
I think we can just wait a couple of meetings and get it back on, see what we can come up with. So. Okay, next on the agenda is Kent and Daniel Young. I need a motion to approve the request submitted by them and to waive the City of Independence Code as follows. Chapter 41, Public Health and Safety, Section 41.10, 3 parentheses, discharging weapons, hunting in city limits. Chapter 41, Public Health and Safety, Section 41.11, throwing and shooting during the 2018 bow hunting season. And this is for them to do a hunting within the city limits.
No, am I
they
correct?
here?
Okay, they're good,
Okay.
okay.
I'm Daniel Young. Just back to get a renewal permission for
Okay.
what was said.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, that was my question. You did it last year. Was that your first year?
Yes, sir.
How
Yes.
many did you take out of there?
We took one. I actually harvested one doe.
Okay. Bo?
Yep, bow.
Does anybody have any questions for him?
I don't think we had any issues or anything last year, and
I didn't hear any. That's why I was,
yeah.
I have no problem.
I say there was no problems or complications or issues
No,
that came up that I'm aware of.
I hunted down there 7 or 8 times, never had any issues. Everything went well. All things considered, it was enjoyable, and appreciate to be able to do it again this year.
Okay.
I would make a motion to approve it.
Second it?
I have a motion from Kurt, second by Scharf, to approve their hunting license. I will need a roll call for this.
Can I ask a question? Since my computer isn't up, remind me of the area.
It's along Malone Creek,
South of Randy Miller.
south of Randy Miller's.
Okay,
A couple houses south of where Randy lives.
okay. And no shotgun, just bow?
No, just about.
Okay.
Yep, that's where I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. Can't get to.
We okay to start the roll call? All righty.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Got another season. Thanks a lot. Next on the agenda is Believe 5K Nikki Robertson. I need a motion to approve the Believe 5K to be held May 19th, 2018, and a waive compliance with city codes as follows. Chapter 42, Public and Private Property, Section 42.08, 1 in parentheses, fundraising. Chapter 60, Administration of Traffic Code, Section 60.08, parade regulated. Why is there more under that? To approve the belief, okay, I guess that's all I need to read. Okay.
I make the motion to approve it.
I second it.
I'll just say a little bit, so the money this year is going to the public library.
Very good, thank you, appreciate that.
They've done a good job every year.
Thank you.
How many years is this now?
This is number 8.
You have a good turnout each time?
We do. It's
And-
great. We make about $2,000 to $3,000 a year. Last year was raining, we still made that much, so.
And the weather's gonna be good this week,
Yeah,
right?
yes, hopefully.
Okay,
We'll still be there.
thank you very
Thanks.
much. Motion from Deb, was it Mike?
Yeah.
It's the second motion. Then I need a roll call on this also.
Yeah. Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, petition from the public, a motion to approve the additionally requested road closures for the concert event and to waive compliance with city codes as follows. Chapter 40, Public Peace, Section 40.03, 7 parentheses, obstruct use of street. And Mr. Hawken is here to answer any questions, right?
Yes. Robert Hawkins, 1616 Parktown Place, Northeast Cedar Rapids.
Thank you.
So, yes, we've had a couple meetings, me and Dustin and Gina, about extra road closures, and then to finalize this concert deal, so. Some questions, we do have a map here. I think Gina has one and Dustin has one.
Did you all get to see the map with the additional street closings?
I
Well,
have a
it kind
couple
of
of
gets
you
cut off.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of things on the map. I mean, the map was originally, we had brought it, Robert brought this to start with. So when you're looking at it, 5th Street from Corinne all the way down to the river is where one road would be. 1st Avenue from 5th Street to 6th Street, and not including the intersection of 1st and 6th. Nelson from 5th to 6th, not including the intersection of Nelson and 6th, and then 6th from Nelson to 1st. So,
Dustin,
yes.
just as a reference, how would this differ from what we're accustomed to for the 4th of July celebration?
Only thing different from this one to the 4th of July celebration is actually shutting down 6th Street between 1st Avenue and Nelson. Other than that, it's the same layout.
Is that the one that runs along the side of the parking area, parking
That's
lot?
the one that runs right behind the band shell.
Okay, and when you park in the parking lot, you have to come out on that street
Right.
to exit. So if it's shut down,
They can go
how
around.
is that going to
If they go
let
north
traffic?
If they go north of Block, they can get around. They can go north from, on Nelson up to 7th, and then go around that way, instead of going across 6th. The reason he wants to shut down 6th is because of the big buses and stuff they're gonna have. And if we have that on that street, it's gonna be so congested, people trying to walk around the buses and doing everything else. It's actually a recommendation from us to shut 6th down between 1st Street and Nelson.
How do we get out of the parking lot?
Come out of the parking lot onto 6th, go north on Nelson, go east.
Just
on-
about a half a block or a short distance?
Yep. Yep.
So you'll be able to get on it to leave the parking lot?
Yes, you'll be able to get on 6th between the river and Nelson, and then you can go north on Nelson and then over on 7th to the 2nd Avenue.
Okay. Because that, when I saw that, I thought, how am I going to get out? So,
And
how do
now-
you get into the parking? Because the side street's closed, what route do you have to get to the parking lot?
You'd have to take 7th down and then come down down Nelson to where your parking's at.
There's an alley through the middle of the
Yep,
block.
there's an alley
Okay.
between Nelson and 1st that would get you through there as well. Then you have the parking that is west of
I used to live right up
6th, and then you have the parking by the boat dock that is off of 6th there.
Okay.
Yep.
And people are going to understand they can go out on 6 just to get off the pile
Yeah,
of
they'll be able to
parking
go
lots.
out, and then at that intersection, they'll have to go north because they can't go south, because that'll be blocked off and 6 will be blocked off.
Okay.
The only
Motion
other-
to approve it.
The only other thing that's on here that's also is the boat dock. That's not on the map here. The reason for that is just so that we don't have boats getting onto the river to try to watch the show from the other side, because if they, not saying they would drink and boat at the same time, but if they happen to lose control of the boat, it stops working, then we have an issue with them floating downstream. For the 4th of July, we usually have the DNR shut off the river, but this, we're not shooting off fireworks, so we don't have to shut off the river at this time. So that's not something that we have control over, that'd be the DNR anyway. So just shutting down the boat dock, we do have control over, and that's why I'm asking to shut that down as well.
Anybody have any questions about it?
You're shutting off the boat dock, but will it still be accessible for fire, DNR, if they need to get launched for some reason?
Only thing for us shutting down it is just putting barricades up, I mean, to stop people from going down there. But yeah, they have complete access whenever they want to get down there. So we wouldn't try to restrict them at all.
What about fishermen that have been out there in the morning?
We'll have to take account of that.
They're gonna spend the night on the boat?
If they wanna come off the dock at that time, that's fine, just, we'll keep an eye on the, as we drive around, I'll have my guys, also if Rob has anybody that's down there that sees that the barricades have been moved, we'll go and just put it back.
How many police officers are gonna be down there, Dustin?
Just the ones that I have working that day, as right now.
Do you have additional security, Rob?
Yes, I do.
Ticket sales booming?
Yeah, they're doing okay. I think we have 650 online sold at this point. And we have some outlets in Cedar Rapids called Smokin' Joe's, and then of course the city chamber here in town. Lucky to have them. They're selling some tickets. They haven't sold any, but I'm sure it's going to be last minute ticket sales. So, but otherwise, everything's in place. All the production, all of the Travis Trick Camp is in place. Everybody is in place. I'll probably launch a little bit of social media here in the next month or two, and K-Hawk is going to get behind it from the radio station here in the next. I think they're kicking off May and July promotions. So
What's the date of the event again?
it's going to be August 4th, Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion from Kurt, second by Scharf, to approve his extended closing of roads. I need a roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you. Your motion is carried. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Rob.
Next on my agenda is for the love of Hosky, Mike McGill. I need a motion to approve for the Love of Hosky Car Show and more festivities to be held June 9th, 2018, to waive compliance with city codes as follows. Do I need to read all of these to make this legal? Do I have to read them out loud? It's on the agenda, this whole list of chapters.
It's on, no, it's on.
It's
It's
posted.
posted.
Is that
Posted.
okay? Good. I didn't want to have to read all of them. Sorry, Mike.
That's all right.
I'm old.
You can keep things moving around along, man. That's fine.
People think you talk too much anyhow.
Mike McGill, 129 Terrace Drive, one of the committee members for the Love of Hosky Car Show and more. I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the event. As far as an overview, I think most of us know Hosky, Jerry Hoskins.
Sure.
He's been going through some serious health issues lately, and so we're going to help him out and have a little fundraiser that encompasses a car show, free will food donation, live auction, silent auction. We'll have live music and face painting and all kinds of things. The event is scheduled for 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. on Saturday, June 9th. So one of the many activities in our community on June 9th that's taking place. Hopefully it's a beautiful day like for the 5K and everything else, all these activities that we have outside. So we've had one fundraiser. We had a tip night last Monday at Pizza Ranch and raised just shy of $2,000. So a lot of people love that Hosky. So we're hoping they come out on June 9th and help us raise some additional funds. So I'm just looking for your support in granting us permission of closing that street on 2nd Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. I believe Al and Gina received all of our signed consent forms from the neighbors. The post office would not sign one, but their only concern was delivery of a larger truck that will be done by 7 a.m. before we even need access, and then the next time there'll be 4:30 p.m., which again will be done with our event. So those were the only other items I think were in question when I talked to Dustin and Captain Brinkema.
Husky's done a lot of these himself for other people, so it's nice that you're doing this for him.
Yeah, for almost 10 years, he helped coordinate and kind of led the fundraising for the Cruise Meisters. They had the Indy Riverwalk Cruise, and all the funds went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So now he needs our help. So we're looking forward to doing it. We got a great team of volunteers that are helping plan this event, and so just asking for your blessing.
I would make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Hayward. Roll call, please. You don't need a roll call? Yes, you
Yeah.
do. Okay.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and
it.
flyer, if you guys are out having coffee anywhere or have meetings.
I got about 100 of these. I
Please
got
do you?
100 copies
All
today.
right. Feel free to pass them
What
out.
made you think we drink coffee?
Thank you. Thank your
Bloody
group,
Mary,
too.
Whatever.
Also
Thank you.
for Hosky on June 3rd is a car cruise
Yeah.
at Fairbank. It leaves at, do you know, Mike, 10? 9?
It's earlier than I'm usually awake. I'm not sure. I think maybe 9 a.m. or something like that. So yeah.
It's on there. Katie Trimble is the head of that. So if anybody wants T-shirts, that's the number to call for that and the
Call on
cruise.
I did get your insurance.
Yep. So if you guys have any questions over that, please let me know. But otherwise, I think we got our I's dotted and our T's crossed. Moving forward. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on my agenda is Meet Me on Main with Angie Anderson. I need a motion to approve the Meet Me on Main festivities to be held July 20th, 2018, and to waive compliance with the city codes as follows, which is again another long list. Is Angie here?
I don't see her here.
I don't either.
Where would Maine be?
Right? Right from Chatham? Right from Chatham? How does that work?
There is no Chatham, remember?
I know, there's no Main Street either, unless you go to Otterville.
But is she closing the first block from the bridge?
Be the same as China Jingle on Main, would be.
Okay, so it goes from the First Street Bridge down to the bank corners.
Crossing the bridge, let's see. The 3rd Avenue Northeast.
And then,
It's bank corners. And then from Second Avenue up to 2nd Street.
okay. Everybody know where that's at or what she's talking about? Okay.
In our public safety meeting today, we did talk about this a little bit and actually asked to extend the end time, even though Angie's not here and I haven't talked to her about it, extend the end time to 8:30 instead of 8 o'clock. Because we don't know if they anticipated the tear down of all the stuff they're gonna be putting on First Street or on Second Avenue. We wanted to make sure they kind of tear that all down before we open up the road. So even if it's 8:30 and everything is cleaned up by 8 o'clock, we can still open up the roads at that time. But this just gives that extra half an hour to tear stuff down, get them off the street.
We've got the insurance on file and everything.
The insurance is coming. She's aware of it. Our requirement is that we have it 10 days in advance of the event, and we won't have an issue with that. Of course, if we don't have the insurance, we can't hold the event, but I don't think that will be our issue. And she's working on that with John Evers.
What's her date for that again?
July 20th?
Angie's been very good. The start of the Jingle on Main project, she worked with me on this. On this one, she did contact us the same time that Brian was on vacation, so we haven't actually had a meeting to talk together. I did talk with her over this, and we're trying to get set a time for us all to sit down and get everything pinpointed out on all that, but based on what she has and talking to Brian, everything looks around where it should be.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Okay, motion by Kurt.
Second.
Second by Scharf. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is Independence Day Celebration Committee with Juan Rodriguez, and I don't see him either. Motion to approve the Independence Day Celebration Committee 2018 festivities to be held July 3rd, 2018 through July 4th, 2018, and to waive compliance with city codes as follows, and there's several of them again. I don't know that there's anything different than what we've done before for 4th of July.
This would be consistent with previous years. It's worked very well.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Hayward.
Second.
Second by Scharf. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. We've got a busy summer going on, don't we?
Looks like it.
Just starting.
Next, I have hearings and ordinances. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing for fiscal year 2018 budget amendment, public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, second by Hayward.
That's fine.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to fiscal year 2018 budget amendment. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak on this particular topic? No? Okay. Any comments or discussion from the council? You got a list of it? Hearing none, then I need a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Scharf, second by Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We need another one to actually approve this, or is that? all you
It'll
need?
get approved at a separate meeting
Another
from the one
meeting?
you hold the hearing.
Thank you.
Is that for the 29th of May?
As it's due the 30th.
Okay, next on my agenda is a rezoning ordinance setting date of public hearing. Motion to set the date of public hearing for May 29th, 2018 at 6:30 PM in City Hall Council Chambers for the amendment of the zoning ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by
Second.
second by Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Where's this one at?
Up by the creamery, I think, isn't it?
Oh, okay, okay.
A block
The
away.
block just.
By the pop bottle
south.
factory there.
Yep, okay.
Yep.
I looked at all this stuff, but it's all muddled up and I can't refresh my memory.
There, I didn't know.
I know.
Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to appoint Janet Payne to fill the vacant term of Arletta Schweitzer expiring January 1st, 2022 on the airport board.
So moved.
Motion by O'Laughlin.
Second.
We have
second by
questions?
Hayward.
Can we have questions? Is she here?
She's here.
Can we have questions?
Do you not know her?
I didn't know her, no.
She's been in Independence most of her life, born and raised.
Hi.
I think in my attachment showed what she had wrote. as far
Exactly,
as-
and I read it, but I didn't say anything about what your background with the airport was.
To be on this committee, she doesn't have to have a background with the airport.
I'm just asking a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really don't have a background. I was on Parks and Rec for a number of years. Just something I'm looking to get back into the community to try and do some more things. And I realize that there have been issues and it needs to be gender balanced. And so I thought I would try.
Anything else? I ask for a motion, or do we
You
have?
got that.
Do we have a
O'Laughlin,
second?
Hayward. Yep, Hayward.
Okay. You need a roll call? Yes. Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thanks,
Vaughn.
Deb. Appreciate you coming.
Vaughn,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
and Hannah.
Nothing against you, but we had a candidate that had a good airport background, so for that reason, I'm gonna vote no.
But we have passed.
Yes.
4-2.
Okay, motion carried. Welcome aboard. Thank you, Janet. We'll let you know when the next meeting is. Thank you. Next on the agenda is police fitness testing policy, a motion to approve resolution establishing a volunteer fitness incentive policy.
This policy is required for the state auditors, for us to be able to initiate this. This goes back to October of 2016 when it was first brought up. The Public Safety Committee did approve it at that time, but we pulled it off of out of the budget that year and moved it back a year, which is where we're at now. Really, it's about the policy so that we can do it to keep in order with what the state auditor or the method that the state auditor wants us to do to implement it.
I had a question when I read this. I can't get into my computer to give you the exact verbiage, but is it twice a year they're being tested?
Can be.
And will be compensated twice a year or once?
For each time they complete it. So it'd be
So
twice
they
a year.
could do it twice.
If, it's all based on budget. I mean, if I don't have the budget to do it, I can't do it. If I have the budget in there where I can do it twice a year, I will do it twice a year. And each time they do it, it would be compensated for each time they successfully completed it. So,
And in the last part of it, it had something about age qualification.
yes.
And it said something about achieving older than what their age, and that didn't make any sense to me. I know we talked about the one if they were achieving a level younger than them. But there was something in there that said older, and it didn't make any sense, and that's why I wanted to question it.
The testing qualifications is actually the Cooper test. It's a test that law enforcement has to pass to get into the career. So if they, let's say they are between 30 and 39 years of age, everything goes by 20, 29, 30, 39, 40, 49, 49, 40, or 50, 59, and 60 and above, because you can't be over 66 in law enforcement. So if they are 30 years of age and they achieve it at the age level of a 20-year-old, the 29-year-old, then the incentive is $500 for completing that. If they do it at their own age bracket, it's $325. If they complete it at the age bracket, since they are in their 30s, complete it at the age bracket of 40 to 49, then it's $200. So that way it still shows, okay, they can complete this, maybe not their age bracket, but when they're older than them, because they might, let's say they completed the sit and reach, mile or minute sit-ups, a minute push-ups, but the mile and a half was in the 40 category instead of in the 30s where they're at. Well, they complete everything for the 40, so they still get a benefit for completing everything at least in the 40-year-olds, but not their age bracket. Now, if they do a really, or in the 20-year-old age bracket, that whole line, complete that, then they get the 500 one.
My question is, Dustin,
Yes.
isn't it incentive enough to be a policeman in Independence, Iowa? I mean, do we have to pay them? You know, when I was mayor, we sent Brinkema to school to be an instructor. Now, if we start this for the police, why wouldn't we have the workmen, Public Works, take some course to make them be better at something? You know, me, I think don't you feel better just doing, do you feel they have to be paid to do something?
No. I don't have, I get paid to do my job. I don't have to have incentive to do it.
Right, and as a policeman, there are certain requirements you need to do.
To become a law enforcement, to start with, yes.
And then job description, as you work for Independence. Now, you should be able to do those without us having to pay you to do them.
It's not a requirement after you get hired.
But if you don't do them and you let somebody down in the public, who's going to be responsible?
If I don't do them,
Say you can't do your job.
well, I can do my job,
Okay.
but in somebody that it's out of shape can still do their job. This is an incentive to keep them in shape.
But they should have that on their own, don't you think?
You'd like to think so, but in this career, a lot of officers after years don't keep up with.
I understand that, but they chose that profession.
I understand that.
And to be proud of them. They should be proud of us and want to serve us to the best of their ability without having to be, other than their salary, be compensated for. This is my own opinion. Everybody else has their own.
But, you know, we scratch by to get by with our budget. And to me, it just doesn't seem sense. I'm sorry. And I have nothing against policemen, but there comes a time, I mean, like I say, I'm not gonna take the public works people in here and go have them do aesthetics, because they do a lot of physical work too.
I understand that.
So I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
And then this is a requirement that is required to get the job to start with, and it's just to help keep the officers in shape. When I was in Carlisle, we did this 4 times a year.
But you should want to do it.
But it was something that incentive to keep me motivated to keep working out all the time. Instead of spending some time at home or not doing it, it kept me motivated to be in the gym all the time.
Okay.
So that way I kept
But
my.
the only way we can do that is money?
No, but it was an incentive to do so.
Okay.
I agree 110% with Carl. And that extra money that we would spend on that, we want to bring to the public police station. Let's take that money and put it toward the police station that we all want.
I want to remind the council that you've already approved this. It's a matter of the policy to implement the payment of the fitness incentive. I mean, this has already been put through the council once, and so it's more about the policy than it is whether or not we do the fitness program. And I will tell you that this is not unique to police. There are dozens of health and fitness wellness programs put on by a variety of entities, including Wellmark, and looking for incentives to help your employment base in every department to be healthier or, act in a healthier manner. So it's not unique to the police department. This is unique because we do not have it built into our union contract as most departments do. Our union contract is silent to, hey, you have to do it. It's voluntary. It's on a meet and confer or a consensus basis between management and the union. They've agreed to it in principle on a voluntary basis, and that's really where we're at. But, we are unique because we do not have this specific in our union contract.
Don't we have some equipment upstairs for you guys to work out on? Or is
Yeah,
that-
and I got, I had that donated right after I started, and I use it all the time.
How many officers would be eligible for this?
All our officers would be eligible for it, but probably, I'm guessing, half of them might actually partake.
So realistically, how many?
Maybe 6.
6? So 6,000 a year would probably be the max.
If we even get up to
If,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
When was this?
Pretty good chunk for the police station.
Well, you approved it, and the Public Safety Committee went through it in October of 16. It was put into the 17 budget and then removed because we made some budget cuts. It was put back into this last budget as a line item in their budget. Dustin has been very forward about the program, putting it out there and why the money's there. He's asked for it. He was gracious enough, it's in the 17 budget, to pull it back out because of some things ran into. And again, the council had put it back in.
I've heard of this program before, but primarily with a lot of the larger metro police departments. It's pretty customary.
Also, I don't think we've turned the police department down for anything since you've been chief of police. We've gave extra money for weapons. You've actually got an extra police car that could have been taken out. I think the council has really gave the police department above and beyond, not that we don't need this stuff, but this just doesn't seem like a necessity, again, when you're talking about a new police station.
Has to be an end to it somewhere. I'll make a motion to approve it.
You can hear the talk out there, we couldn't afford a flag, but we can afford this.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the resolution. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by O'Laughlin, second by Kurtz. I think you need a roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
No.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
No.
Vaughn,
No.
tie for a tie. Okay. Can always bring it back at another time when you have full council. Next on the agenda, Independence Light and Power 2017 write-offs, a motion to approve the write-offs submitted by Independence Light and Power. Do this on an annual basis.
They did it right this time. I make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Deb,
Second.
second by Hayward.
Bring in this.
Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next on the agenda is motion to approve a property lease with E. King. B.E. King?
This is a lease of FEMA buyout property. It's consistent with what we've done with other folks in the community. So, again, the terms and conditions are the same as all the other leases.
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Deb, did I hear?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Hannah, second by Hayward. Roll call, please.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next on the agenda is the police station construction site. Motion to approve blank.
Missed
I
one.
think you skipped one.
Did I
Back in
skip
parking.
one? What did I
Back in
skip?
parking.
Oh, it's at the bottom of, oh, yeah, it's at the bottom of this page, okay. Back in parking.
This was a discussion at the committee of the whole meeting last week, and there was some, I won't say there was a consensus, so we put it on here for your approval. It is the one-way block, the one-block area immediately north of the pool on Fifth.
So they're only allowed to back in and park in there?
Is that one?
Diagonal parking, back-in parking, correct. And again,
Not the parking.
the idea is to try it there. There's no paint currently on the streets. We would have to paint the parking regardless.
Right.
We were asked to give it a try in this area from a safety standpoint as far as kids getting out of the car, loading, unloading. Instead of opening the doors and pushing them toward the street, you would open the doors and actually block the children from the street, push them more toward the curb was one of the ideas behind it. But again, it's a one-block area that is a one-way street that would fit this idea.
I'd make a motion to approve it on a one-year trial basis.
I'd second that.
Okay. Motion by Hannah, second by Scharf to approve the back-end parking for at least a one-year trial.
You can just do all in favor.
Do what?
You can just do all in favor.
Oh, I don't need one, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Now, next agenda is police station construction site.
Again, this was a discussion at the committee of the whole last week. Really, there's two sites on the First Ward Park that were identified. That seems to be the location that we're zeroing in on. And the next step in the process is to identify a site. For the,
Task force recommended the northwest corner.
the
Yes.
task force identified the northwest corner of First Ward Park. The other suggestion was the southeast corner of the park where the ball field backstop is currently. So opposite corners of the park.
I'd make a motion to have it on the northwest corner.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'd second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. Roll call, please.
I have a few questions.
Okay, sorry. I keep jumping ahead of you, don't I, Mike? I'm sorry.
I guess I know where the northwest corner of the park is, but with setbacks and driveways into the garages, I don't know how much area that's gonna take up. As I very amateurishly stepped it off, It's gonna be dangerously close to that playground equipment. The shelter's gonna be gone, and about 5 trees are gonna have to come down. And that was not the information that was given to us when this was first presented. So I'd like to see stakes or something to where, you know, in that drawing, I don't know what you used for a setback. You know, I don't, there's a lot of variables in there that I don't know about, you know, and all of a sudden, we're ramming this ahead, full speed ahead, to try and get something done without an accurate picture of where it's gonna be. I don't want later somebody coming up and saying, oops, we gotta take 5 trees down instead of 1.
There's even been talk about turning it around up to the public, facing the front of it, facing the courthouse, and closing that block off, which could be done easy. There's no reason not to.
With Bob, working with Bob.
You're not on residential either side that way.
On which way, Deb?
The front entryway would be to the west.
Okay.
And close that block off. You'd have all that for parking. So just basically turn the building around.
You know, we haven't really been ramming this through. We've been working on this for 5 years.
Yeah, and that's what Bob was telling me.
You know.
And one of the reasons for the northwest choice was proximity to the courthouse, for transferring prisoners or quarter, things like that. And also for the line hookups, so that, isn't that one of the advantages, Dustin, that they can hook up to the same line as the sheriff's department? And it'll speed the process for all concerned.
There's, besides just the communications of our systems and stuff, there's also, was a restroom there at one time. There was the dumping station there. So yeah, I know you have water, you have sewer in that area. A lot of the other stuff is, yeah, the feasibility right across the street to the courthouse, the county attorney's office, everything is right straight there, so.
Whose budget's gonna eat the new shelter that we're gonna put up?
Have we checked to see if that could be moved?
Yeah. I won't say this.
I don't think there's any moving that.
You know, basically what you have are concrete pillars with a roof on it. I'm not a contractor, so I'm not gonna talk about the viability of moving that roof unit. We could put somebody on the spot, I suppose, that knows more than I do, but he's.
Didn't Mr. Gissel reconstruct that last
I
time?
believe Christian's wanting to speak on this.
Get enough concrete.
Since it's on the
Empire
agenda.
State Building up here.
Name and address, whatever.
I know the routine. Just have to get set up. If I don't have these, it's going to be a really short comment.
Okay, take them off.
Another tree going down.
Pass along, please. The report, oh, sorry, Christian Lutz, Executive Director of the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce, 112 First Street East. The report from the Citizens Task Force was shared with the entire Chamber Board. They reviewed the document, and during discussion, they have adopted the following position statement, which we'd like to share with you this evening. For the benefit of those in the audience and those watching in TV land, I'd like to read the position statement into the official record. The Police Station Study Committee has recommended to the Independence City Council that a new police headquarters be built in the northwest corner of First Ward Park. City parks have been instrumental in urban planning since the establishment of Boston Common, the nation's first city park in 1634. The concept of reserving common land to create parks moved westward as towns and cities were founded across an expanding nation. The establishment of city parkland is a sacred covenant between the citizenry and municipal government. In exchange for not developing the parcel for private purposes, the government in turn agrees to hold the land in trust, protecting and maintaining it for every citizen to enjoy as recreational or entertainment space. This covenant has become known in legal circles as the Public Trust Doctrine. First Ward Park has a very special place in Independence history that continues into the modern era. When Independence was first platted in 1847, the area was designated as the original town square. Eventually, when the hamlets of Independence and New Haven merged through legislative action in 1857, the square became the merged city's first park. The park was not improved until 1871, when the square was graded, trees were planted, and the ground seeded. A bandstand erected around the turn of the 20th century once adorned its center. The diagonal sidewalk remains to this day, eventually being upgraded from gravel to concrete. 2 years ago, the amount of parkland in our community was identified as a strength when Blue Space Creative, the marketing and design firm that created the community's new brand, gathered research and conducted a SWOT analysis of Independence. The City Council should be reminded of the public outcry early last year when a proposal was made to locate a cellular phone tower in First Ward Park. As the issue was discussed, one member of the City Council declared that this park in particular is, quote, one of the most popular parks in town, end quote. The proposal was defeated by unanimous vote of the City Council. The Board of Directors of the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce stands opposed to the confiscation of our public parkland for such a purpose. As a community organization composed of local businesses, service organizations, and individuals, we cannot support an action that would result in parkland alienation, that is, the taking of parkland for non-park usage. Using the northwest corner of the park would result in the destruction of a park shelter as well as the loss of at least 6 old-growth trees, which have probably been in the park since the initial improvements to the park were done in the 1870s. Another factor that has not been considered is the impact on parking. When the courthouse lot fills to capacity, cars spill onto 6th Avenue Northeast and 2nd Street Northeast. Adding another public facility with high traffic needs and near proximity of this area will only exacerbate this problem. The founding fathers of Independence wanted this parcel preserved because they set it aside for a non-commercial and non-residential purpose. Let us respect the intentions of the city founders when they initially set aside this parkland 170 years ago. For these reasons and the significant role that First Ward Park has played in our community's history and its impact upon generations to come, the Board of Directors of the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce will not endorse or support any proposal to locate a new police facility anywhere within the current boundaries of First Ward Park, nor any other city park for that matter. Thank you.
I think we ought to double the rent where we're at right now and sign a 50-year lease and just get it over with. Just because of the lack of making a decision. We've been at 5 years of fooling with this project. Every birdhouse in the county has been nominated for this site, and there's always somebody comes up with a reason, and it sounds legitimate, why we can't do it. So let's just stay where we're at, double the rent, and for a 50-year lease, I think we'll all be happy.
There'd still be park space there.
The park, actually, going back to that, it is a park. We're not taking the whole park. And as Denny pointed out before, it is the original site for the original police department in Independence.
Right.
So at one point in time, it was actually used for law enforcement center or police department. So it's not changing. It is bigger than what I'm sure they had at that time. But still, it's the exact same spot as what it would have been in the past. And we're not taking the whole park. I think actually I know my daughter's daycare, our daycare is right down the street. They do use that park. They do use the playground equipment. It would be great to have law enforcement out there if the kids are out and we have a day that we're not extremely busy, go out and actually have a good time with the kids that are out there as well. I mean, being right next to a park, I see my officers go down to Riverwalk Park where people are playing basketball and play basketball with them. If we have people out in the park, we had cupcakes with a cop in that park. It's just another park that we can use if we're right there. Hey, let's have the event right here. We have the facilities, we have the restrooms, whatever we need, everything is right there. It's a great place for us to host events with law enforcement and public. So.
At one time, there was a schoolhouse there, and I believe that was the chamber.
Little Red Schoolhouse.
Chamber headquarters there, wasn't it?
Yep.
Right by the,
In the schoolhouse.
yeah, the schoolhouse on the water tower.
The Little Red Schoolhouse that's out on.
Yeah, but wasn't it hauled in there?
Yeah, it was hauled in there.
But it wasn't ever had school there.
No, there was never a school, but that served as the initial chamber headquarters, or one of the initial chamber.
Now the chamber don't want us to build a police station.
Well, and a plus is that we wouldn't take something off the tax rolls, like when they talked about medical associates. The land is a city, so we wouldn't have to pay for the land. There's a lot of pros to it.
Absolutely. And I can't tell you how many parks are in this town. I know.
In my lifetime alone, there have been 2 large parks in the northeast part of town within the proximity of First Ward Park that have been added to the recreational rolls. Teachers Park, that was residential all down in there. Now that's a park with equipment, with gaming areas. And where the former Washington and Emerson school lot.
Sandbury Hill.
Sandbury Hill.
I think we also, at one point, somebody mentioned the possibility of making that park into an inclusive park for kids with disabilities. So if we're putting the police department there, that would be a time to maybe reevaluate that park and make it a better usage. and maybe for more kids and such, but
I do have to admit, the shelter that is there, I would like to try to see if that could be moved.
Can that be
because
moved, Gary?
I know that it's used.
Not with what?
Much success.
That's the sad part about that.
To a dumpster.
Sad part about it is if you can't move that, I'd like to see another one be built up there, but I know that costs money to do so.
Could
I don't know,
you
they just
donate
moved
a
just
shelter,
moved the
Gary?
Cedar Falls Chamber of Commerce office down 3
Is
blocks
the roof
away.
salvageable?
It's harder to move than a shelter.
The roof couldn't be moved in one piece. I didn't ask if you would.
You can find somebody that will move that shelter, I will tell you that, but it will cost you as much as it would cost to build.
Yeah.
Don't think we can get all the football players to just pick it up and carry it across?
The insurance you're gonna have to pay for them getting injured.
Yeah.
Just
It'll
ask.
cost you more.
Just take a drone and hook up to it.
Hell of a drone.
Well, the bottom line is, and it goes, we started looking for this more than 5 years.
5 years.
It's went back further than that, actually, Denny, but at least that long. And you're not gonna make everybody happy. I don't care what you do.
Right.
You're gonna take something off the tax roll, but the situation is, we gotta get something started, people.
Yep.
And
Well, let's just pay rent for the next 50 years where we're at, Carl.
that's not the
They,
answer.
they don't want to
That's-
make a decision, and
that's-
once you come up with something, somebody's got 40 reasons why you shouldn't do it.
That's not a good answer either, and I think the task force did a great job of looking at all types of locations
did.
and places. Their biggest thing to start with was not to take property off the tax roll, which this does not do, and then they also liked the fact that it was in proximity to the jail and the courthouse and everything in one area, campus type of thing for safety.
When we first started this, the whole task force, and we went and walked through the sheriff's department, and where the old police department was, after we walked out of there, were you the one that mentioned the park, or was it Fry? No. No.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we thought that was a good location.
It was either Fry or Mr. Miller that mentioned it at that time, and my first opinion was that was not gonna work. It's a city park. We just eliminated trying to put a cell tower there, but that's also was on the other side of the water tower, right in the residential area, and it's a cell tower. So my first opinion was that would not be a good place. After getting to think about it and talking it throughout the group, it's probably the best place out of all the places we looked. There was talk about actually shutting down that road completely, Sixth Avenue right there, and putting it in the middle of the road, and I don't think that was gonna be the best thing, because I know a lot of people use that, including myself. Medical Associates was brought up. Even though building would be a nice building, it's in a good location, the remodel on the inside of it would probably cost more than building one ourselves. I mean, all those small offices for the doctor's offices are not big enough for us to have a office to actually have everything we need in there. Probably great for storage, but for everything else we need, probably wasn't gonna work the best. Trying to think where else we talked about. All in all, the best one that we came up with was in that park in the northwest corner, in my opinion. That's what the committee feels is the best place for it. But that is up to you guys to figure out where you guys
How
want.
about turning that building around?
Turning it around facing actually the courthouse, or facing?
You would, the police cars wouldn't be coming in a residential road that way and parking.
Based on the way the in structure is already blocked off, I don't know if we could change everything. We'd have to move everything around on the inside. With the way the inside is set up, we took the old blueprints from where it was supposed to be the police department and city hall and used mostly those that outline, and didn't change the room sizes, so that way when they did actually do the blueprints of it, if we ever got to that point, it wouldn't be a whole lot of money for them to change around and revamp those sizes and dimensions of everything. So that's why we kept it the same direction as it was before.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor.
But it's something we could look at.
One more question. When you were looking at with it, did you guys, I'm sure you did, You actually did some measurements and stuff down there, didn't you, Dustin?
When we, actually walked out and everything?
Yeah.
Yes, we went out and walked out where we thought it would be and also used the assessor's page to figure out how long and wide things
I
would
think
be.
it'd be a great idea what Mike said, though, to have somebody actually go out there and stake it off and be pretty exact.
I stepped it off, but I don't know how accurate that is. I don't have a clue how.
Step off both corners and just see, but at least
Right.
step off that one if we're thinking about
We-
voting on it.
You can.
When we started this, looking at the two corners, we did stop short of incurring the expense of surveying, or staking, what have you. Not that it's an insurmountable cost, but that was viewed as being an additional cost that,
We're gonna have to pay it if we vote on it anyway, aren't we, Al?
well, my point is that at least if you pick a location, they'll go out, they'll stake it, they'll have to do some soil borings and what have you regardless. I caution you because until they do all of their soil borings and what have you, this is going to be somewhat tenuous because that can change. I don't have a reason to suspect that it won't support the building, but just be aware of that. To that point, staking would be very easy if we wanted to pick one location, if you wanted to identify that as the primary location. If you want them to stake both, they'll have them both staked. I mean, you incur that added cost, just be aware of that, but yeah, you can stake it, do the soil borings and suitability, and come back and revisit that at that time if you want to do it in incremental steps.
The one thing that I was sensitive to also was the parking situation up there, because city, or the county courthouse does get really full.
That they do.
And that's why I had suggested closing that street off and using that as additional parking.
Yep.
And I still think that might not be a half-bad consideration looking at it. Plus, you might have the opportunity to bump the building a little bit further west and not impact the tree situation and the rest of the park. So it might be something to look at.
Yeah, going west, it would free up more of the trees.
And if you didn't have to have that setback from the street and everything. Parking lot's a whole lot different.
What is the setback on that?
Probably 15 feet, I'm guessing.
15 or 25.
20,
Well, the front is 25, the side yard is, I believe it's 15, but I'd have to look to be sure in that zoning area.
We
Because you're
have
facing
two,
the courthouse.
we have two supervisors here that can address what would happen if we closed that street for traffic and made it more for parking. Can you guys see a problem
That's our
with?
street, the first one.
I do know that that street is used for parking.
Yeah, you want to come on up so they can hear you?
it
It's
is,
just an idea that's been thrown out. I mean,
heavily.
That street that you're talking about, there is a lot of parking that takes place in there because there's been multiple times when the courthouse parking lot's been full and needs to be used. And a lot of our employees just park there to leave room for taxpayers and clients that are coming into the courthouse.
Right.
And they just naturally just park along the street, so that opens up the parking lot for people that are coming in and utilizing that area. I just have one question. You had mentioned the fact about not taking property off a tax roll. Has the old American Legion building been looked at? I'm sure it has. That area right there is not paying property tax. That's a 501c19, and they're not paying taxes on that property. So if that would be, I didn't know if that was ever a site that was looked at or
I
not.
think we've looked at that size-wise and the fact of what it would cost to take that building down, which is a problem that why it's still standing
Which,
with all the,
too much parking either.
yeah, I don't think
Parking, I
that
think,
would
would be
be
a
a
problem.
good, I don't think it'd be big enough for what we need for our police department.
The only thing is that I see that there could be a lot added congestion up in that courthouse area by having a police station there. Would be my concern there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gary's got anything
I
to say
think it's
about it.
closeness to the courthouse and convenience that way, and everything is a bigger positive than what congestion we could have otherwise, so.
Up till
But that's-
2 years ago, the police department was there, so all the congestion that was there before just went away for a little bit, and if we move back, it'd be the same as what it was before.
We'll adjust to it.
Yep.
Just a couple follow-up statements. The first thing is that just keep in mind that the amount of parkland has been identified as an asset for our community. It's a quality of life issue, and that's what attracts new residents to our community. The second thing is you have to ask yourselves, when do you draw the line and say enough is enough? That park has been encroached by the water tower, and whatever that little building is, I have no idea what it is.
Well, how?
When do you say enough is enough? Because if we keep going at this rate, we're not gonna have a park there anymore.
The pump house.
The little,
Your water.
Okay.
the little building is our well house.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a sign there saying, here's what I am.
Yeah.
And then, finally, if I can remember what I was gonna say. The train is completely derailed. I had a third comment and now it's.
We've added though park space because of the floodway down by the river. That
Oh, I
used to
remember-
only
I
be
remember
a
the-
short block where the playground equipment's at. Now we've got that frisbee golf, or frisbee, golf frisbee, whatever.
Right.
That's actually on 3 blocks down there.
The third statement I wanted to make in closing is that I didn't see it in the task force report, but this would be part of your due diligence as elected representatives, especially for those of you whose constituency that park is in as well as the at-large is have you talked to the neighbors that live on the periphery of the park to see what they think? Because this decision is going to impact them the most because they're going to live right across the street from it and it's going to impact their property value.
There is a person, I've talked to those people, because that is my ward, Christian, and the people on the north side aren't fond of it, because the park is used a lot. But when you hear all the pros and cons, we're never gonna find 100% people that are for it
No.
or against it. You know, there's always gonna be that divided part, and
You have any more comments about that street and adding parking there or closing it?
I would really hate to see you close that street.
Okay.
As, like
there is.
Clayton says, most of our employees use that for parking along the west side of that street. Now.
Could we make more parking in, the street, though, if it was closed?
are you
Could there
gonna
be
share
more
it-
parking?
Are you gonna share it with us?
Well, sure. Why would we not?
I do have a question for you here. The lot that you bought behind City Hall, wasn't that originally purchased for the police station?
At
Why
one
aren't we
point?
looking at that lot?
We did. We've looked at every lot in Independence.
That's gonna be the building for the fire department probably eventually.
The concern from the committee voiced by the committee, and they did look at that as I understand it, but the concern was exactly
Parking.
that.
And
you know,
parking.
What do we do for the fire department that would eliminate any potential for expansion if they needed to in the fire department? And should it be used for parking? And, you know, one thing we are short of in our area, just like the courthouse is, we get pretty bogged down on parking. Now,
And so do we,
right.
likewise.
And so I think that the issue was specifically, leave that for the fire department, don't eliminate our options there at this point. To the point of parking, I'm not sure, but the one diagram that I did see, kind of chicken scratching, showed that there'd be plenty of parking to share. I won't speak for the council, but I'm not sure why we would not have that open to share with the courthouse. There would be plenty of parking available, set up in the right manner to quite honestly help what you've got going for parking issues already. So, I think there's ways to do it. I know the police department has concerns. They'd want to preserve some of the parking for their services closer to the building, but there's quite a bit of parking that you would add closing the street. Now, there are other issues with closing the street. A lot of them centered around personal habits of people in the area and the traveling in that area, but
It just seems kind of funny to me. At one time, years ago, we bought the old Fairway building, and that was said to be the new home for the police department and City Hall, and that didn't come to fruition. Then we bought this lot for the new police station, and now we're not gonna go there. What's the problem here? And number two, I would like to ask, is the new police station, is this a done deal? Is this something that we're gonna do?
No. This is just the starting points of it.
Okay.
We don't have a price, we don't have anything set that it's gonna be done this way, it's just the start
Because
process.
as a resident of Independence, I guess my first question is, where's the money gonna come from for a new police station?
The funding, and I won't say 100% of it, but the funding has been in place to fund the debt with the bond issue already. Most of the cost, with the anticipated cost, is already built into our current levy, so there's not new tax dollars of any significance coming in there.
It's not gonna raise our property
It-
taxes again.
It is designed at this point to be very close to where our levy already is. And again, depending on what the bids come in at and.
Very close to scares me.
Well, if,
You mean, so we could be lower, is what you're saying?
I think Gissel Construction, if they
Yeah,
bid
yeah,
right,
so let's not
could.
go there.
Depends on what your bid is.
I'm retired. I don't run that show anymore.
I don't know that I want to guarantee that there's no change because we don't have any bids. We don't have the building designed. I don't have bids to put in front of you. But the council did, you know, when we moved, we've left the levy the same, setting money aside each year from our lease payments to help offset that. Where does that number come in? That's the part that I can't tell you, Gary, because
Well,
we don't know.
nobody can until you put it out there.
Exactly.
I
But,
understand that.
but we do have enough built into the current lease and levy to support a very comfortable level of construction in the 750,000 range.
Well, and I can understand you're wanting your close proximity to the jail. I mean, I can understand you wanting to be there, but I'm gonna go on record as being opposed to that location. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I still do have a motion and a second on the thing. Motion to approve the northwest corner as the site for the construction of the police station. I would like to take a roll call.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
No.
Motion carried. Now we can move forward with that one. Next on the agenda is wastewater pickup purchase. Donnelly's not here.
yeah, he is.
Mr.
Yes.
Donnelly,
Where's
is
he
this
hiding?
Back there hiding.
this would be
Oh.
Mr.
This
Lulof's.
is Mark Lulos.
Oh, this is Mark's,
Yeah.
okay.
Mark is, got it in his CIP to replace a one-ton pickup at the wastewater plant. And they have found a 2018 that is available on or before July 1st, and he's asking permission to purchase it.
What did you say, there is money, he's got money for it?
This is in the CIP, yes, but for July 1st. Timing is pretty significant as far as, do we order it and wait? This one's available close to immediately.
What's the cost of that?
$23,700, I believe is the number.
And this is the one that's replacing the truck that has the transmission going on.
Right.
This is not trade-in, that's just outright.
Oh, it's a trade-in. But it's the one-ton Chevy that he wants to replace with, he wants to replace his current one-ton with a one-ton Chevy.
I need a motion to approve the purchase of a 2018 Chevrolet one-ton pickup truck from Dunlap Motors.
So move.
Motion by
Second.
Hayward, second by Kurtz. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward, Sharp,
Yes.
Okay.
Here comes the
Now, is this one I need, Mr. Donnelly, from, you've been hiding back there this whole time.
The place was full, there was a chair there, I sat down.
Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to approve the purchase of a Freightliner plow truck from Don's Truck Center.
For the council's sake, we had an extended discussion at the Public Works Committee on this. Tim did give you the bid documents. And I did put in my notes that we were considering something, a truck at Truck Country, still a Freightliner. It was slightly higher, but the delivery date was earlier. Tim was able to find out that they are earlier than I anticipated. So I accept the responsibility, Tim. I did not mean to cross you up on that.
Of the truck countries we can get in November, which would be a 2018. In Don's, it will get it in March, but it'll be a 2019. To me, it makes no difference one way or another. If you want us to wait, we'll wait. It's a savings of $5,000 or $6,000. But, I mean, the truck I have, I can probably get through another winter. But there is the option, we can get it in November, or we could wait till January and get a Peterbilt. But that's beside the point.
So which way is the savings?
The savings is at Don's. And I talked to Harrison's about it because they're a big truck company. They weren't one of the ones that bid on it, but they will not work with me because they're going through Don's. Don buys his trucks through Harrison's.
And we'd have a year newer truck also.
Yes, we'll have a 19 instead of 18, yeah.
So the Peterbilt will come in January of 18?
You're right,
No, no. I'm sorry. I did put the 18 on those ones. Yeah. Yeah, the Peterbilt's waiting for me. All I gotta do is send them a check. And those all should be January of 19. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's a good idea, since you mentioned that you could live without it. I mean, it's not so desperate. I know you guys do a fine job and everything you do, but that year newer, and I don't know, you've always got along with Don's up there, and I would like to see you be okay with that.
Yeah, the only truck it's the 95 Ford that we use for a backup would be the only one. We'll just have to baby it, and I'm not gonna stick a lot of money into it.
No. Well, I'd make a motion that we accept the bid from Don's.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion from Scharf, second by O'Laughlin. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. That's the easiest time you've ever gotten a vehicle in all the years I know you. That's the easiest time you've ever gotten a vehicle in all the years I've been around.
It's been a long time since we got it.
He hasn't got it yet.
He paid us off. Paid us off.
Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to declare IPADS surplus as, no, am I missing another one?
iPads.
iPads. I hate those things. Motion to declare iPad surplus as functionally obsolete, not being used in city operations any longer, and advertised for public sale.
Gov deals?
We
Not
have,
all of them.
we have 8 iPads that we've retired from the council. We have some city departments that would like to use them that currently don't, and so we're looking at which ones we might be able to repurpose within the departments. The ones that we are not repurposing, we've had some discussion about some level of interest in these iPads, so if there is, again, subject to council giving us an opportunity to repurpose them first, we would advertise any that are not reused for sale. That one, Mike, I would suggest that we do locally and not through Gov Deals because it's a very small item. So you have to declare them ready for disposal. Any that we don't use internally would be advertised, and anybody in the community, anybody in the public would be able to bid on that.
Before we get rid of them, whose computer is working right now?
Mine's not either, but I brought mine and I own it, so.
I don't think.
Or docs, we can't get anything to come up.
I don't think the issue is a computer or an iPad here, and I've already said that.
Sound system, isn't it?
It's a sound system.
The internet was not working right before the meeting started when I was trying to print some more agendas and stuff off at my computer, so it's something to do with our internet right now. know.
Did we pay the internet bill? I mean, is that?
Yeah, we paid. Promise. It's in your
Did we
claims
approve it?
listing.
Let's go back and amend it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hold off on selling these iPads till we make sure everything's working?
Well, I'm,
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor for this. so-
Are those going to be cleaned off before they're given out?
yeah, we would have to take city, anything from the city off of there first. They'd have to be wiped.
And who will do that?
Either we'll do it or the folks at Indie-Tel would do it.
Because mine had stuff from way.
Yeah, no, it would have to be wiped off.
Did you not get a motion on that?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I missed it. What had happened?
I just asked for it, I didn't get one. huh?
I'd make a motion to
Okay.
dispose,
I
put
asked
out
for
for
the
sale.
IPADS.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hayward, second by Scharf. Roll call, please. Get me out of this.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Reports.
No, you got one of the
Oh, the
facade.
Gotta talk about our facade.
Well, this has been an ongoing discussion. It was also brought up in our community visioning. What can we do, or what are we making available for improving our central business district, our downtown area specifically? This is on here just to publicly acknowledge that we still have our commercial corridor restoration, renovation program. I did put all of the documents on the, here, as well as put it on our or our website, excuse me. We refreshed it, we put it back on the homepage of the website, so it's easier to find again. It's 25% or $2,500, whichever is less, for doing a facade renovation. Paint, fixing up, cleaning up, if you will, the front awnings of your business, and that's per side. So it's 25% or 2,500 per side of the building that faces the public. We have used it a couple of times since I've been here. I think Quilter's Quarters is the last one downtown that's used it. The Lee Mansion has used it for part of the work on their Keep a Little Painting. But we have not had a lot of activity in this area. And this is one program that we do have that could help something like that.
We have funds allocated.
This is tax increment dollars, so because it's a school district, there's a way to do that, but it's not as clean and simple as it was in 2012 when the program was adopted. We no longer can levy or, certify TIF dollars, have them sitting in the bank waiting, which is, once upon a time, we were able to do, to have a fund balance. Now we have to incur the cost, certify that to the county, and wait for the money to come in after it's been certified to the county. So it's a different process we have to go through. We have to have the projects in place before we can ask for the money. And so it slows the process down for the property owners to do this. The program still works, it's still available.
Slows it down. Let's say the Mexican restaurant wants to redo their facade. If they apply June 1st.
They would have, if they applied June 1st, theoretically, it would be approved in July. They'd do the work sometime during the month of July, August, September. We would certify it December 1st. We would have it the following spring.
Okay.
So we certify TIF once a year, December 1st. That's the only time that we can go out and ask for that money, and we have to have the money spoken for in a project before we can ask for it.
So it's technically a reimbursement, it's not a,
It is a reimbursement, it has always been a reimbursement, so that is not changing the program in any way. The project has to be approved, completed, the bill submitted, even before we went through the changes in our TIF reporting, it still was a reimbursement.
and sometimes a generous contractor might work with them on billing as far as payment knowing that they're gonna get paid in December versus,
That's been known to happen.
So the business downtown that's redoing out there, do we know if they have applied for this?
Which one?
What business?
The law office?
No. Yeah, they're doing above the windows, and I suppose they're gonna finish.
We do not have any active applications on file.
So they can do it, then apply for it?
No, they have to apply before they do the work. It has to be approved before they do the work.
So we should get a hold of those people and say, hold off then, right?
Good.
Well, all they gotta do is put an application on.
Yeah.
If they're aware of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why we're discussing it tonight.
Right, that's just what I'm trying to
This
get out there.
is- I asked for this to be put on just to make people re-aware that the program is available, so we can, if we get 4 or 5 businesses downtown to stick a little money in their stores, that might trigger another 4 or 5 to, oh, mine looks a little crappy next to that nice new one, and, we might be able to get some progress made on some of those stores.
Other discussion, this is a small program, and it's designed to be a fairly small program. We have talked for a couple of years now about a community development block grant, a much larger program where federal HUD dollars can be used for 50% of the project. The city, through tax increment, through TIF, could pay for up to 25 or 30%, and the property owner 25 or 30%, depending on how you structure the partnership, to do facade improvements. Now, that takes everything from tuck pointing, windows, doors, awnings, paint, whatever the case might be. It's the front 6 inches of the building that are involved with this, and they use that as the definition, I think it is, but it's the front of the building. Whatever it takes to fix or improve that structure. I'm trying to think of the name, we just had the name of the town north of us here that has been very active with this program. Several of the smaller communities in particular have really changed.
Oline, West Union, Fayette.
Postville, Decorah.
Smaller and a little further west.
I think we
What
discussed it at the
surprise.
last meeting.
Anyway, it's a program that's out there, but it takes, it's an incredible amount of paperwork to do the program, so you want to make sure you have some critical mass to do it. There is a cap on the number of dollars that you have per application, but it's, if we can get 4 or 5 businesses or storefronts that wanted to do the block grant, put the application in and go through that, that would make the single largest impact of anything we could do. But it takes a
Oh,
commitment
you're
by
thinking
the.
Charles City.
I think they have done some,
So it's Hampton, haven't they?
yes.
Yeah, I thought Hampton.
But there's examples out there. The program works very well, but it really has to be driven by the property owners because they have to commit to it in order for this to work. And while we can find them between 50 and 80% of the cost, it still takes the property owner's participation, not the business owner. If the business owner wants to do it, they still have to have the person that owns the building, if it's not the same, to participate. So just putting it out there, there's other things that have a greater impact. Ours is a much smaller pot of money, and it's a much smaller impact, still worthwhile. A lot less red tape, a lot less paperwork, but depends on how much we want to get done.
So any of the businesses, if they're wanting to do some of that, need to contact the city and let us know what they're looking at, and we can work with them to find what might be their best solution or repayment or whatever the case may be. So that's why Mike wanted this on the agenda for tonight, is so we got that word out.
Good idea, Hayward.
We'll see if we get any results.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay, continuing with reports, since I've got Mr. Donnelly here, I'm going to let him start. Come on up. Anything else you'd like to say?
I only have one thing I'd like to say.
Uh-oh.
I know the police chief wants where he wants his building and stuff, but I would like to see keeping Sixth Avenue open. That does interfere with our plowing and all of our street work and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's fine if he wants to build his building there, but let's try to keep that street open.
Tim, that's easy, just make it a one-way park angle and egg that back in on each side.
You know, if we close that street, Tim, we need a bigger parking lot at the courthouse.
And the county'd have to take care of it.
Now that they're
I
gone.
wasn't going there, but that ain't a bad idea.
They both
We
left.
just did a road with the county that is half county, half cities, and we get to maintain it after we get done. So, let's not go there, John.
You guys do Toyland Road?
What's that?
You guys do Toyland?
No, we're doing the road down Kentucky Avenue out there by Joe Olson. We're putting a new surface.
Oh,
trying
okay.
a new surface
That-
on top of that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a 15-year maintenance-free. A young guy from Australia came up and.
Same procedure we used to do with the P-Rock and that.
Yeah.
Do you have to do Bland Boulevard?
Yes, we do Glen Boulevard.
Okay. That was another,
Half county, half
that,
city.
that was another shared project, but you still get to plow.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Dustin, do you have anything else you'd like to add tonight?
Just a couple of things. What was supposed to be today, Career on Wheels out at the East Elementary, was supposed to happen today, having a bunch of trucks and all this other stuff going on. Well, because of weather, they postponed it till Thursday. So Kayla is gonna, Officer Cornwell will be involved in that, so she'll be taking a squad out there to do that event. A week or so ago, Officer Isley was asked to come out to schools to do a junior achievement. And it's a process for informing, I think it was 8th graders this time, what law enforcement is and so on and so forth, what they want to, if they want to get into it. So that was one thing an officer has gone through. Canine Officer Cass has gone to USPCA and his DLE certification just recently. I haven't, usually when he gets back, he sends out a letter saying how he did and so forth. Sounds like his USPCA did very well then. I don't know exactly what the rankings are yet from that, or they were just almost back to back. He was only here for, I'd say, half a week or so before he took off again, plus time off he took himself. So our department's been pretty busy, still being one down with McFerrin being gone. So on a different note, if there's a way that I can work to get the flags funded for that flagpole, would we keep it? Is a question I would ask. So if it's something that we would like to keep down there, I'd be willing to work on a process of seeing a way to get that funded to keep the flag up. But it's up to the council if they want to keep that up there or not.
Yeah.
So, I know the lighting is an issue as well, but if there's a way we can get the flag to go, I mean, I'm sure I can work with people that I know in the community, plus the people that were here tonight, talk to them and see if there's a way we can keep the funding in for the flag to be up there. The lighting is the only issue that I would see. So. And then also, I mean, you guys taking care of raising it, lowering it like we have in the past, but still, something that I'd be willing to take on is if the council's willing to work on lights and stuff, so.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody from the fire department back there want anything to say? Have anything to say? Roger?
Wake up, Roger.
Nothing? Okay. Council members, Denny, I'll let you go first.
I don't have a thing tonight.
Okay. John?
There's several comments on Facebook right now about the new sidewalk survey. And some of them are saying that certain companies were never contacted about being involved in the survey portion. I'm sure Mr. Cook contacted several companies about this, and there was only one that was willing to do the survey.
Mr. Cook has reached out to other companies about it. I'll stop short of saying he's contacted everybody.
Okay.
I don't know who everybody is.
Sure.
This is not new and has not been a secret process. I was made aware of a couple of comments, and publicly I'll set the record straight here. Last year, it was $62 per fix is what the cost was for the company that we worked with. We do not prescribe one over anybody else. There's one company that we're working with. The only people that we've paid are the ones that have made the fixes to the city's property. That's the only thing that we've paid. I heard something about $150 or $200 per slab. I don't know where that number comes from. That was not the number that we used last year. We did send out a letter that had a cap not to exceed, which you're required to do for assessing property for repairs. We followed the state code for those assessments, sent out a not to exceed number. We won't have that number this year until we complete the survey. We know how much work there is to be done, what type of corrections or fixes have to be made. So there's no way I can give you a number today until that survey is completed. I anticipate that survey to begin the end of May. I think the 29th or 30th is when they target coming through and starting Third Ward. We've been very upfront about First Ward, Second Ward. This year it's Third Ward. If we sent out a letter earlier this spring notifying everybody in Third Ward that we're doing the survey. If they want to fix it ahead of time, please do. If they want to or are concerned about us coming through and doing the survey, let us know, but we wanted them to know when we're going to come out and actually survey the sidewalks. We'll send another letter out like we did last year after we find out where the repairs are required, giving everybody an opportunity to fix the ones that they want to fix, or if they want to hire somebody else to do it. They've got, I think last year we gave them 30 days, and I would expect that we'll give them a comparable time frame this year, but we'll notify them when we know what has to be fixed. Those that do not opt out of it, we go through and fix it. We have an obligation for the sidewalks to meet ADA standards for trip hazards. We did that last year, we'll do it again this year. But the letter we sent out earlier this spring was another attempt to say, we're doing this is the area we're covering, make sure you know that we're coming. But we will not prescribe who any of the residents use to fix their sidewalks. That's up to you as a homeowner, that's up to you to address. We're just helping you identify those things that have to be fixed per ADA code. So I hope
Thank you for the
that more than it
clarification.
corrects.
I just wanted to get something out there early, so it maybe stems some of this, but.
Right, and if people have questions, I tell them to call. We've tried to make it as open as we can, be as upfront as we can. We are not hiring somebody to do anything other than the city's repairs. And the survey is a part of the program that we're doing. They will be out this week, I think, later this week to review First and Second Ward.
And they're doing that free yet this year, Al?
They're doing it free as long as we identify, they want to do the fixing. So we allow them to do that, but we will not tell a homeowner they have to use that company. That I can't do that. I don't think that's in our best interest or the citizens. So if they've got somebody they want to do it or they want to do it themselves, our real concern is that it gets done. Anything that does not get opted out of, anything that is not addressed, these folks will go through and do it, but we'll give them an opportunity like we did last year.
Anything else, John?
No, thank you.
Mike?
I have nothing.
Okay. Carl?
Well, I just want to say that I'm glad to see the board at the airport be gender balanced. I do want to say that I hope, Benita, you and Karen can see eye to eye sometime. And she definitely the most knowledgeable female we have in town on that airport. And I hope she will lend her expertise to the board if they so would ask her or consult with her or whatever. But I feel we need to move on. So and I don't know, I know who Janet is. I don't know her that well, but I knew she was on the Park and Rec before. So I'm looking forward to them all working together and I look forward to you working with Karen too, okay?
Yep.
Thank you. That's all.
Mike?
I made contact through email, or I tried to encourage everybody to come together to work on a stoplight by the library. We're fixing that road, the road is being narrowed, and when I was up there the other night checking on stuff, it's still a very dangerous crossing, and there were several. I was there from 5:45 until probably 6:15, 6:20, and there were probably 10 or 12 kids that went across that intersection in that amount of time. Maybe that's typical, maybe it's not, I don't know, but that's what I saw. And it's still a very dangerous area to cross. And if we're putting a new street in,
They don't push the button, though, do they? They don't push the button to get across, do they?
what button?
Crossing.
Exactly.
Crossing.
I go by there every day. I see
Crosswalk
kids
button.
standing there waiting for the traffic. They reach out and touch the button, but they don't.
I wasn't aware that there was a,
Yep.
what does that do, make people stop?
The
Sign
sign
flashes
flashes,
and they have to
the
stop.
crosswalk.
Yep.
So once the sign flashes, they have to stop.
Well, with
As long
the,
as they're in the crosswalk.
with or without the sign, a pedestrian in the crosswalk, in the legal crosswalk, has the right of way.
Right, that's
The flashing sign was put up as a reminder to the motoring public that there's somebody trying to cross, pay attention, they have the right of way. So it's just to draw more attention to it, that's the intent.
They don't stop, do they, John? And the day John and I were up there testing, a state trooper went through and it was flashing and cars went and he didn't stop
He
them.
did too.
They broke the law.
You must have been in pursuit.
I know. It was not.
It's my personal belief that it would be worthwhile for us to explore that. And one of the engineers for AECOM lives in my neighborhood, and I've spoken with him, and he said it wouldn't be any problem for them to look at it if we so chose.
Staff may or may not have had that conversation as a heads up with the engineers saying that's been talked about in the past. So I'm not going to weigh in on it one way or the other, but I think that when you get to the opportunity to visit with the engineers about preliminary plans, and there'll be a couple of meetings, both with the Public Works Committee as well as with the community, there's opportunity to bring up different ideas.
But he did say one good thing. They are gonna narrow that street some, so
Yeah.
the traffic, the distance won't be as much for the traffic. For the people.
Right, the middle lane will disappear, the turning lane.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of different things that will take place there, in particular from 8th Avenue East.
Yeah.
That will shorten up that pedestrian cross quite a bit. Traffic calming, slowing the traffic down. It's a highway width right now, all those things that they've talked about. But again, I'd ask everybody to stay open-minded, take a look at the preliminary designs. They're not the final plan, but they're going to bring some things to you to give you more to look at. And they're pretty smart people.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I see we got the citywide cleanup paper. And is Teniers going to do the appliances?
They are doing appliances.
But not TVs?
But not TVs.
Okay. And I know people out there know about the $5 per TV, so I've been asked by a few people if we could get $1.50 per meter for the tree dump. And there's people that think that money could be used towards our citywide cleanup. So can I get something to tell how many people are paying that and what we're pulling in a month?
Say what now?
We all pay $1.50 to the tree dump on our light bill.
Right, environmental fee per household.
And so there's been people asking me if I can get what we're getting a month for that and where that money is spent. And if that couldn't be used for some of the citywide cleanup.
We're currently subsidizing our services that we provide down at the tree dump. The $1.50 helps cover some of those costs, but it doesn't cover all of Tim's time and effort down there to maintain the tree dump.
Yeah, it's more than just a tree dump. When we take a tree down grind the stumps out, you have to pay for that, clean them up, stuff. It's more than just, like Al said, the $1.50 goes a long way.
Well, I still been asked by people to see how much money the city, how much money we're making off that per month. I mean, it's just like how many meters you have times $1.50. Because we have apartment complexes that some of them probably don't even use it. So, you know, you might have how many apartment complexes in there, and each one of them are paying $1.50. Anybody with a meter is paying it. It just sounds
Tim,
like.
how much do they charge us when we bring in the mulcher to chew all that stuff up?
I think it's $6,500 every 3 months now, I believe. But, I mean, like I say, then you gotta figure, well, like this year, we got 52 trees that have to be ground out, you know, 16,000, they're all ground out.
Two.
You can look into that.
36 to 40 grand, just all that.
Oh, our tree asset, that's a great place to, for us to have, so it's
Real asset.
well worth $1.50 for.
Oh, that's.
But that was just a question they asked, so. And another thing was on Thursday, there was 3 or 4 people with red shirts painting the signs on, and that was pretty cool to see. Some little, was it Wapsie Wares or?
Wapsie Realty asked if they would be given permission to paint the stoplights First Street West. Tim was gracious enough to provide the paint, and they went out and part of their community service to service the project, I guess.
It was really cool to see that. I mean, good to see. And then our town-wide cleanup is all citizens can help out doing whatever. You like to help.
Citywide cleanup, if anybody's available. I know a couple have talked to us. We want to get the council and department heads are aware of the opportunity to serve. We have a spot, we got ourselves saved up $70 an hour for taking in TVs. We also have a spot for a couple of people collecting tires. Down at Cy and Charlie's, we track that and help with that collection. So if anybody's got time on June 9th that would be willing to give us a couple of hours, let me know. I know a couple of you have talked to me. Deb, I heard you were preoccupied.
I got tooth jobs that day.
But I just wanted to put it out there, you know, one of the council's goals was to do community projects or more community projects. So if you have time and you want to help out, we're going to try and get out there.
And if you want a really simple job, anybody can do this. And the library's looking for one person too.
The library's looking for somebody to help
For the
with the
shredding.
shred
Yeah, I
day.
think it's a meet
so-
and greet, it said, and so.
Farmers Bank's helping them out with the.
The TVs are down at River, or at River's Edge?
TVs will be at River's Edge parking lot, same as the appliances. We're still paying for the flat, or the straight trucks and the 25 cents a pound, but, you know, if we don't have to have the $70 an hour for their personnel to be down there.
How is the $5 per TV gonna get paid?
We'll have a receipt book down there. We'll just take the payment there when they bring the TVs in.
When they bring the TV in? So they don't pay it ahead or nothing, just that day?
Just bring it in with them. I mean, we won't know how many TVs they're bringing in, and, you know, try to keep it as simple as we can. You come in with 2 TVs, and it's $5 each, and again, keep it simple.
Did they have them show their IDs before in the past?
No.
We haven't in the past on the TVs. The concern is, like the tires, are they coming from inside city limits? How far out into the country are we reaching with our cleanup, you know, our costs? But, you know, at this point, tires seems to be the big one, but TVs is sure caught up with us in a hurry.
You have to have your address.
We
So
need
like
an
when-
address.
When we did them, we just, at somebody's house, we just got their address and name. And then when we pulled up to the Waste Management, we gave the name and the address, and they could verify that they were, you know, I mean, when you look at the address, they know that they're in that, you know, same sign
I
Charlie.
thought we were
same
doing
with
it
Fairway.
somehow, I wasn't sure how we were
And-
doing
If it hasn't changed, that's what we did last year.
And we've been subsidizing this, you know, each year. Last year, I think it was, you know, pushing $12,000. So it's not a small issue that you're, you know, taking on with the subsidizing the cleanup. It's good for the community, but it's not free.
I had one comment on that. I know tires, is it 12?
12 this year, it was 7 last year.
I think it's been 12 ever since the first time we started it, because I was sitting over here on the
7,
council.
wasn't it, Fred?
when we did it.
Last year.
Okay. I say it was 12 when we first started, but I don't know, we originally used a larger number to get as many as we could and figured we'd probably settle it back down after the fact of that case, so I'd say that's one thing you probably do is drop it down to 8. I mean, 4 and 4 is 2 vehicles, so.
We want to remind everybody that they have to be off the rim. That creates a lot of hardship when we take the tires in, so Cy and Charlie's will, I would guess, will take them off the rim. They're probably going to charge for that, but tires have to be off the rim to be recycled.
Last year they counted a rim and a tire as 2.
Okay.
Now-
So that would be part of the fee that we've been paying then for the tire recycling.
Just to clarify, tires, no racing tires probably, no tractor tires,
No tractor, no truck.
no semi-tires, pickup truck tires, but no
Or
semi-tires.
sandbox.
Wheelbarrow?
Wheelbarrow tires we'll take if it's a small enough wheelbarrow.
All right.
Taking notes, Fred?
I did close out of my thing and did get it back up again, so if you
I
guys.
got in, it was flying.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
after we were done.
After the meeting's over, so. Otherwise, I will
You want
add,
these left here to put the,
Please leave your laptops here. They're going to put an antivirus on them tomorrow morning first thing, so they should be ready by noon. But if you'd leave them here so they can put the antivirus on there for you, I'd appreciate it. That might make them run faster.
Is that what they put on mine today?
Are you gonna be at the meeting?
No.
Just need the laptop, you don't need the other equipment,
Right, right. If you just leave the laptop, we'll be fine.
My
And again-
battery's dead, so you're gonna need the cord.
Okay.
If you plug it in before you leave.
you have to
Just plug it in
cord
right
with
I can do it.
Just leave it there, yeah.
You wanna plug it in?
No,
Only
his,
if it's dead.
that's it?
I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded by Sharp, seconded by Denny. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried.